The wind howled through the trees, casting long, eerie shadows across the walls of the old Parker family home. Nestled on the outskirts of the sleepy town of Thirsk, the house had stood for over a century, a silent witness to the passage of time. Its weathered facade and creaking floors whispered stories of generations past. But lately, something else had begun to stir within its walls, something dark and unsettling. It all began when Henry Parker, a widowed father of two, decided to move back into his childhood home with his teenage daughter Lily and young son Sam. The house had been vacant for years, left to gather dust and memories. Despite its eerie charm, Henry believed it to be the perfect place to start anew. Lily, a skeptical 16-year-old with a penchant for mystery novels, was intrigued by the house's history. Sam, however, was less enthusiastic. At 8 years old, he was prone to nightmares and often spoke of imaginary creatures lurking in the dark. On their first night, the family settled into their new home under the blanket of a moonless sky. As the clock ticked towards midnight, Sam awoke with a start. His room bathed in the cold glow of his night light. He could feel it, a presence lurking just beyond the edge of the light. He sat up, clutching his blanket tightly. "Father!" Sam called out, his voice trembling. Henry, half asleep, shuffled into Sam's room. "What's wrong, son?" "I heard something," Sam whispered, pointing towards the attic door, which loomed ominously at the end of the hallway. Henry sighed, ruffling Sam's hair. "It's just the house settling. Old homes make noises, you know that." But Sam wasn't convinced. He could feel it, the eyes watching him, the shadows that seemed too eager to dance, just out of sight. The next morning, as the sun filtered through the curtains, Lily decided to explore the attic. She climbed the narrow staircase with curiosity, each step creaking under her weight. The attic was a dusty expanse of forgotten relics and cobwebbed corners. She ran her fingers along a stack of old, leather-bound books, their spines cracked from age. As Lily turned to leave, something caught her eye. A peculiar, child-sized door nestled in the far corner. It was painted a deep crimson, starkly contrasting the drab surroundings. She hesitated, then reached for the handle. But the moment her fingers brushed the cold metal, a chill ran down her spine, and a voice echoed in her mind. "Do not disturb the shadows." Startled, she stepped back, her heart racing. She shook her head, blaming her imagination and the dusty air for her unease. Yet the feeling lingered, a cold whisper that refused to be silenced. Over the following weeks, the house's atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. Shadows lengthened in the dim light, and strange noises echoed through the halls. Sam was particularly affected, his once playful demeanor replaced by constant wide-eyed fear. He often spoke of the man in the shadows, a tall, gaunt figure with a face obscured by darkness. Lily tried to dismiss his tales as mere figments of a child's imagination, but she couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't alone. At night, she heard faint footsteps pacing the attic above her room, a slow, deliberate rhythm that set her teeth on edge. One evening, as thunder rumbled in the distance, Lily found Sam sitting at the foot of his bed, staring intently at the wall. She sat beside him, wrapping an arm around his small shoulders. "What are you looking at, Sammy?" she asked softly. "It's him," Sam replied, his voice barely a whisper. "He's waiting." Lily shivered, her skin prickling with unease. She glanced at the wall, seeing nothing but the familiar pattern of the wallpaper. Yet the air felt charged. as if something unseen was lurking just beyond the veil of reality. Determined to put an end to the fear gripping her family, Lily decided to confront whatever lay hidden in the attic. Armed with a flashlight and her father's old baseball bat, she ascended the stairs once more. The door at the far end seemed to beckon her, the crimson paint gleaming ominously in the flickering light. With a deep breath, she gripped the handle and pulled. The door creaked open, revealing a dark, narrow passage that seemed to stretch endlessly into the shadows. Her heart pounded in her chest as she stepped inside, the darkness swallowing her whole. The air was thick and cold, carrying an unsettling stillness. As she ventured deeper, a figure emerged from the shadows, a tall, skeletal silhouette with long, bony fingers and eyes that burnt like embers. Lily froze, her blood turning to ice. The figure moved with unnatural grace, its voice a low, chilling whisper. "You should not have come here, child." Gathering her courage, Lily raised the flashlight, casting a beam of light across the creature's face. What she saw made her gasp. A hollow visage, its features distorted and grotesque. "Leave my family alone," she demanded, her voice trembling but resolute. The figure laughed, a sound that echoed through the passage like the rustling of dead leaves. "This house is mine. You cannot banish the darkness." In that moment, Lily understood. The house itself was a conduit, a bridge between the world of the living and the realm of shadows. This creature, this bogeyman, was bound to it, feeding off fear and despair. But she refused to let it win. With newfound determination, Lily swung the bat, the sound of wood meeting flesh reverberating through the air. The creature recoiled, momentarily disoriented. Taking advantage of the opening, Lily backed away, her mind racing. She recalled the words of an old family legend, a tale of light overcoming darkness. She turned, sprinting down the passage and out of the attic, the creature's furious cries echoing behind her. Bursting into Sam's room, she grabbed his nightlight, clutching it like a lifeline. Together, they returned to the attic, the warm glow of the light casting away the shadows. The creature shrieked, its form dissolving into wisps of smoke as the light washed over it. With a final, anguished wail, it vanished, leaving only silence in its wake. As dawn broke, the Parker family gathered in the living room. The oppressive atmosphere lifted. The house felt different, lighter, as if a heavy burden had been cast aside. Henry, oblivious to the night's events, smiled as he brewed a pot of coffee. "Looks like the storm passed," he remarked, glancing out the window. Lily and Sam exchanged a knowing look, their bond strengthened by the ordeal. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, the shadows banished by the light of their courage. As the sun rose higher, painting the sky in hues of gold and pink, the Parker family knew they were safe. The bogeyman had been defeated, and their home was truly theirs once more. Thank you for listening. We'll be waiting for you again very soon.